This morning, Washington state remains the center of attention as the coronavirus spreads quickly. All of the deaths so far involve elderly patients or patients with underlying health issues, most linked to a Seattle area senior center. While in New York, experts warn the virus will spread there after a healthcare worker contracted the virus, likely during a trip to Iran. She's now quarantined at home and does not need hospital care. In Miami, the school district is already preparing 250,000 laptops and tablets for students to work from home in case schools are closed.
This is not the time for parents or teachers or students to be concerned with perfect attendance. If you're sick, don't come to school.
President Trump on Monday met with drug company CEOs.
When do you think you could have the vaccine?
Pushing them to quickly develop a vaccine while seeming to contradict a timeline offered by Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top virus control expert.
Do you accept that this will take longer probably than you would like?
I don't know what the time will be. I don't think they know what the time will be. I've heard very quick numbers, a matter of months, and I've heard pretty much a year would be an outside number.
He's asking the question, when is it going to be deployable? And that is going to be at the earliest a year to a year and a half, no matter how fast you go.
Meanwhile, in Denver, no coronavirus cases yet at National Jewish Health. But over the weekend, someone came into the hospital and stole protective masks meant for doctors, nurses, and patients. With supplies running low nationwide, the hospital is now guarding its supply while it awaits another delivery.
There is a huge public frenzy right now for buying masks, and all of us in the healthcare world have urged the public to stop buying masks.
Okay, so Tom, we mentioned the high-fiving and the NBA going away for a bit. There's also a bit of discussion about handshaking and kissing as well. What's the word there?
Yeah. Listen, a lot of doctors are saying that it probably is a good idea right now to cut back on handshaking, on casual hugs and kisses and that kind of thing for now until this literally kind of spreads out and diminishes. And the bottom line on these masks, we've said it before, it's worth repeating, especially as that one hospital reported that somebody had come in and taken a bunch of masks. These are really not effective for you and me if we're out in an airport, for example, or in a public setting trying not to get sick. That's not what these are for. They're for you to prevent from spreading the disease yourself. If you have the flu or if you have coronavirus, you don't want to give it to somebody else. But as a protective measure, really not that effective.
The concern over the coronavirus here in the U.S. now widening. Tonight, 9 people have now died in Washington state and that new case in New York City. Meantime, 2 new states reporting their first cases tonight. Georgia and North Carolina added to the map. And that second confirmed case here in a New York City suburb, a man who traveled into Manhattan to work. Tonight, they're trying to retrace his steps. He is now in the hospital in serious condition. Schools linked to his children are closed, and now New York City is disinfecting the subways, among other steps. ABC's Wick Johnson tonight here in New York.
Tonight, New York City disinfecting thousands of trains, buses, and stations. The massive cleaning effort following the state's first suspected case of community spread of the virus. A man in his 50s from Westchester County now hospitalized in serious condition.
We're very concerned because of what appears to be previous respiratory condition, which creates more danger.
The man commuted by train to Grand Central Station, saying he also traveled recently to Israel and Miami. His family now under quarantine, and 2 schools closed connected to his son. It's New York's second case of COVID-19 after a healthcare worker tested positive following a trip to Iran. The numbers growing, more than 110 cases across the U.S., at least 15 states affected. In Washington state, the death toll jumping to 9, where the elderly have been hit hardest at this nursing center. Our Kaylee Hartung is there.
For a second night in a row here at Life Care, we've seen emergency vehicles speed in, and now another person taken to the hospital.
Tonight, word of 7 more cases in the state, including 2 men in their 20s. That virus on the move. A new case in North Carolina traced back to that nursing home in Washington. Today, more than 120 evacuees from the Diamond Princess cruise ship released from quarantine at Lackland Air Force Base and bused to the airport.
Where are you heading to? Dallas.
But only those who have been symptom-free for a full 14 days after local officials blasted the CDC for releasing a woman who later tested positive for COVID-19. Tonight, hundreds of American college students are making their way home from study abroad programs after last night's announcement.
There will be 100% screening all direct flights at all airports across Italy and across South Korea.
But Chloe Froning, on her way home from Italy, had to connect through Amsterdam. She tells us she wasn't screened at all.
As of right now, we have not experienced any sort of extra check based on anything regarding the coronavirus.
Not even a temperature check before boarding her flight to Atlanta.
The guy asked me if I had been to Iran or China in the last 2 weeks. Interestingly, not Italy.
And so let's get to Whit Johnson tonight. He's now outside the hospital in New York where this patient is being treated. As you reported there, Whit, he's in serious condition. You also reported his family is in self-quarantine, his children as well. But this is actually widening tonight.
David, health officials are ordering anyone who recently came in contact with that patient to self-quarantine, and that includes members of his congregation at his synagogue through at least the end of the week. David?